The Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce will host its first Candidate Academy in October. The $149 course includes subjects like how to set up a campaign team, secure endorsements, and identify regional issues. Here with a preview is Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce Executive Vice President Tony Padron and Jason Rowe, San Diego Republican campaign strategist for Mayor Kevin Faulconer. And Tony, why offer this 4-week course?
We want to prepare folks. We want them to know that they can run for office, that it's not this big scary monster they've thought it's always been. So we want to give them those tools, the resources, and make it as easy as possible for them.
Give us a little bit more of an idea of what the curriculum's like.
We're looking at fundraising. It's one of the hardest things for folks to do is ask for money. We're looking at messaging. What is the message you want to get across? Who do you want to deliver it to? What do you want them to know about you?
And there's more?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, probably a lot more. Let me ask you this. Is this academy, though, geared toward a particular party or candidates with business interest?
Nope. This is a nonpartisan training for anyone that is interested in being an elected official.
Okay. And Jason, you'll be on the panel for the nuts and bolts of running a campaign. What are the most important considerations, do you think, for someone who's new to politics who maybe wants to run a campaign?
Well, I do think what's important about this is the demystifying of the process, and people understand you don't need to hire people like me in order to do this. You can do a lot of this yourself. You know, first is how do you make sure that you get on the ballot, how that you make sure you comply with the laws as it relates to fundraising and how you spend the money. Those are two things that I think that are very important to get out of the way straight away. But then I think it's how do you effectively use whatever time you can contribute towards your campaign. You know, a lot of these candidates are going to be people that have a 9-to-5 job. They've got a profession and they're doing this in addition to. How do they spend the 10, 15, 20 hours a week that they have to devote to this in the most impactful way to help their candidacy be effective?
And Jason, you've run campaigns before. What do you think makes someone a good political candidate?
You know, I think being able to communicate with people, whether it is to large groups of people, small groups of people, one-on-one. Not everybody that does this, believe it or not, actually likes people. Liking people would be very helpful. I mean, you look at politicians like Bill Clinton, who are just naturally very talented at this. But I think being able to find a way to connect and find some common threads between you and the voters really helps. And I think the more involved you are in your local community, the easier it is to get people to vote for you.
I see. Now, Tony, I noticed there's not a section on ethics in this course. How come?
We're looking at that as the next step. When we start doing actual leadership training. The Chamber has held in the past a university where we actually do leadership training. We look at what are the qualities, not just qualifications, of good leadership. And what does that look like? What do people need to be better leaders? And a lot of it has to do with confidence. A lot of it has to do with just learning basic skills about speaking publicly, being a good writer, being a good communicator. Mm-hmm. So that's the next step. Right now, we want to give people the nuts and bolts of how to get involved in running for office.
And Jason, why do you think it's important for the average citizen, the non-career politician, to want to run for office,
Well, I think everyone comes from a different experience, whether it's professional or just what, you know, the life that they've lived. And so I think everyone has a different perspective that they can contribute in how we're all governed, whether it is at your local city level, your county level, state or federal. You know, the people that are making these decisions impact you, your neighbors, your family. I think it's important that we have a diversity of perspective on how we do that. And I think, you know, being active in your community and having an understanding of the things that make your community work really qualifies you in a lot of ways to be an elected representative in your local government.
All right, and Tony, how many people will be accepted to this? I guess what's the process and, you know, as far as for the criteria for acceptance?
We're looking for 20 participants. We feel that that's the best number when you want them to be able to interact with our presenters and our speakers. We want them to interact with each other because, again, that's one of the skills they need to learn is to how to interact in public. We're putting folks through an application process. We want them to fill out the application, tell us about themselves, and pay a fee, because that's part of running for office is to go through a process. So we're hoping to get at least 20 right from the get-go. We've got about 12 right now. Okay. So we've extended the deadline to September 15th.
That's what I was going to ask, September 15th. All right. Well, we've got more information about the Candidate Academy on our website, kpbs.org. Tony Padron and Jason Rowe, thank you so much.
Thank you.